Charge him. He's got a new love letter, a good love letter. He's not sure what to do with it. But the day before, he met a zombie. And so on today, he's going to go back to the strange glowing thing that he finds in this little corner of the cemetery. And there's Mika again.
Hey, Mika. Time for some more tea, huh?
Yeah. So.
Huh. Showing Leo like, hey, here's someone you should meet. He actually knows how to make tea, unlike you.
And she can't read small letters. So.
Maybe give her the magnifier first? Huh.
I have kept in the dark about what the fuck the magnifier does in this game. I want to say I just since I just always carried it around, it was kind of like the crane feather, you know? Oh, she practiced. That was nice. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
She put that much work into it. Okay.
Flip her head.
Yeah. I just think this area is like fucking cool as shit because it's the only time you get this music, and it's like one of the only times in the game that you get to see an arm fall off, that's for sure.
And Chargin finally showed some emotion there.
Yeah.
Like his eye got huge.
Yeah. He's been through a lot, this kid. But he's not quite done yet. Well, it doesn't pay to tell people lies. Let's just mix it. Yeah, of course. I can about imagine she's been sitting here for like fucking years. Yeah. Okay.
A boy who liked tea?
Yeah. No, that's fine. Oh, I think she says she talked too much because the time automatically passes. So let's talk to her again.
I also love how like serene and peaceful this area is, but then she's like a zombie inside it, and the contrast is really interesting.
And that music too.
Yeah.
It looks like a Victorian garden setting with like these flowering trees and like these lilies all over the place. But there's a zombie in the middle, and she just wants to make you some tea. But she's doing a piss job of it. Because Chartim's taken now, what? Tons of damage? Tons of damage? And so, of course, we're going to come back the next day. Because he really doesn't have much else to do in the game right now. He is committed to Mika. Not like that, but committed to helping her problem. Yeah.
So, let's see if she improved today.
Yeah. And she did remember this. Okay. But not at first. It's interesting.
She still doesn't have her arm back.
No. Oh, she found a mistake. Because she was missing just one ingredient. Who should sound somewhat familiar. But it's gonna be eye-popping good.
Well, her eyes have been popping the entire time, so... Or, well, kind of. I guess they're not really popping out so much as just rolling aside her head.
Well,
but,
as
well,
soon as you said that. Charchim's very polite. He's drinking tea that causes him tons of damage.
Well, it still wasn't very good, was it?
When she figures it out. She's almost there. Oh. Well, we don't mind listening to you. It's fine. Sure, I guess. He is. Aw. That's cool. She says we can take Mala on a tea date. We just have to make sure she has at least 78 hearts beforehand.
I mean,
but I'm
it
sure
is
Mel's
a
like
very
level.
romantic spot.
In a way, yeah.
I mean, like the flower
Oh, yeah,
and the tree and everything,
Yeah.
and the music.
We picked up her eyeball, by the way, too. And we can give it back to her.
Oh, she pops it back in.
That's good. So that's actually a hint. Charchim isn't doing the puzzle right quite yet. But he has no idea to think that. She'll make it right next time. But the piano music really hits the stage home, in my opinion. Just great. The thing with the music in Tulip is it's all kind of based around the same melody. But in my opinion, unlike another example is Super Mario World. It's kind of the same deal, and we show Mel an eyeball. That seems like something a 14 or 12-year-old boy would do. Show an eyeball to the girl he likes.
Yeah.
But like in Super Mario World, like they have the same melody for like every single track in that soundtrack, and I'm always kind of like, well, it's kind of cool, but I think Tulip does it a lot better. The songs feel a lot different. A lot different.
I do think so.
It's been a while. No, we were just here. Yeah. Doesn't seem like Mika's doing very well.
No, definitely not.
Now she can't even make tea. There was a boy who had her tea a long time ago. But, what do we get? Besides her eyeball falling out again. We get the cluster marmarilis.
What?
Marmarilis. Some kind of flower thing, it looked like.
No, we'll just leave behind the telescope.
Yeah. Cluster marmarilis. Relicis. The boy, okay. The T. So if you don't get it yet, that should hit it home for you. She told us the ingredients for her special tea, and I'm gonna assume that you know exactly the boy she's talking about.
I've been thinking it was Leo this entire time.
Yep, and you're right. Because if you remember when we talked to him, do you remember what he talked about?
Yeah, he talked about how his girlfriend died in an accident or something, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that must be Mika.
Yeah, it's a good assumption. Because it's either that or she's talking about a different boy who just happened to make the same type of tea that Leo's trying to make. Because he says it's missing something. Now Charchim is realizing that it seems like they want me to take this eyeball. No, don't give it back to her, Charchim. That's the wrong way to do it. He's going to give it back to her. No! So Charchim could have... He's going to try to solve the puzzle, but he's not going to do it right.
He just can't handle her having only one eye.
Yeah. So that's like the natural thing. Is like, oh, her eyeball's gone. Give it back to her. Because Charchim is... I guess we'll take this time to talk about how much Charchim has grown up. Even in these few hours, you know what I mean? Like, he started out and he only had 8 hearts, and now he's got 78. And Leo was really scary, but now he's one of our friends. So let's give him the fresh mint, everything else, and also the cluster marmarilis. I have no idea how to pronounce that. The cluster M, which sounds like a Super Nintendo shooter game. Yeah, you want some tea? Yes, we do. Because I have a feeling that that missing ingredient was obtained. Because you know, he makes his mouth tea, which I am a firm supporter of. And every time I see it, I want a cup of tea. Damn it.
Yeah, I could go for some tea right now.
Yeah. So we also saw that Mika is deteriorating, even more so than the average zombie now. I also kind of think that this puzzle is supposed to be done, like, over, like, the entire game. Like, I think you're supposed to be able to find her early on and realize her tea does too much damage, and it's supposed to take a long time. But when Charchim did it, he just kind of does it over the course of 3 days. But yeah.
Whatever works for you, Charchim. Whatever works for you.
It's even more sad now that we got to see Mika, and even though she prayed for eternal life, didn't work out. But yeah, he says that the tea was very good. But that's it. Because Charchim fucked up the puzzle.
Ah.
Yeah.
We don't need more tea.
I think Charchim's gonna turn around though. Oh, wait, he didn't. So he made her the tea, and then maybe Mika will get better now. Maybe she's just having a bad day, and that's why she couldn't even lift her head off the ground. But actually, I'm kind of glad that this scene's in here because it is different. Her eyeball falls out again.
Good. Hopefully this time he doesn't pick it up. Or he doesn't give it back.
Yeah. So she can't even talk now. So now she just... Before she was just kind of like, my name is Mika, like she hadn't seen us before. Charchim, you see the item, don't you? He's gonna look around. There isn't much time to look around. And Charchim fucked up again because he didn't get the cluster M.
Charchim.
So, yeah. But I think through, you know, to break the fourth wall, I think it's right. I think he went back and got it somehow.
I mean, he shouldn't be able to overlook it when he has 3 eyes with him.
Okay, so he didn't get it. There's a cluster M.
Okay.
Leo chews it up and gargles, and I just imagine that Leo's stomach consists of nothing but like hot water, and it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's made to own a bathhouse. So he's making the tea again. Very orange and looks very tasty.
What I don't get is that he puts it on the table in between pouring his own cup and Charchim's cup. Why not just keep it lifted in the air?
That might be a cultural thing. But actually Charchim's fucking up the puzzle again. Oh, here, reminds me of his young days. You see like someone is watching his happy tea time. Now why do you suppose that is?
The eye that we have.
Yeah. Or maybe not. Good, very good. I think he's fucking it up because Charchim just says the tea's getting cold instead of saying... And I don't think that's good enough for the puzzle, just to kind of like clarify how Charchim's getting it wrong. Because it took us a couple tries, him and I. Oh, so he's gonna... This time he goes back. Okay, I knew he went back eventually. Because he's gotta try everything while he's at it. Because it has to like wait between days. Someone's eyeball. Yeah, pretty much everyone reacts to the eyeball in that way.
I mean,
But we'll
you'd
go back at 2
maybe
o'clock.
expect him to recognize it.
That'd be really weird if he did.
I mean, don't people always say like the soul is the window, or the eye is the window to the soul? Or
Well, I was
whatever?
gonna say it'd be weird, but in a good way.
I suppose.
Like,
So.
because we're dealing with a lost love between a statue lion and a zombie. So if they did something like that, I think it'd be romantic and, you know, fucking amazing. Actually,
It would be romantic in a very tulip way.
Yeah, it would.